What's the worst financial decision you've seen someone make? A friend of mine who is very bad with money and his girlfriend bought some sort of water filtration system from a door-to-door salesman. He has to pay something like $300/month for this filtration system. He was all stoked because it came with a free set of pots and pans. Fast forward a year and his girlfriend has broken up with him, moved out of the house, and he's had to sell his home because he can't afford to live there. The water filtration system is now sitting in a storage unit where he still pays $300/month for it because he's on a 2 or 3 year contract. Sorry, the details are fuzzy. We have great water quality in my area. A guy who lived on my floor in the dorms inherited $100K from his grandfather's estate. He was suddenly very popular, buying all the beer, pizza, new car, golf clubs, etc. He was living large. His parents showed up about a month later to attempt to help straighten him out and recover funds. The golf clubs and other items went to a pawn shop, and they even enlisted the RA to help watch out for the guy. Terrible for an 18, 19-year-old to come into that kind of money out of nowhere with no reference or respect for how to handle it or how it was earned. A guy in my fraternity got $30K for an undisclosed reason, I'm guessing a family death or something, and he bet it all on the Yankees winning one game. They lost. Put everything in his GF's name to hide assets as he owed the IRS. The GF sold his business, cashed out his accounts, and ran. My brother's ex fell for a Craigslist scam. She found a motorcycle, and the guy needed money up front to pay bills before she even saw it. We told her, don't do it. It's a scam. She said she already sent $1,000. Of course, he was never available to show her the bike, and we found out from my brother after they broke up she actually continued sending him money in hopes of getting the motorcycle. I think she was out $3,000 by the end. My awful aunt was the trustee for my grandparents' estate. When they passed, she decided to sell their house to a random realtor who put a leaflet on the door. To the realtor, not with the realtor. It wasn't put on the market, and the aunt rejected a matching offer by me after I argued hard to actually list the house and have people bid on it. The realtor slapped a new coat of paint on it and sold it a couple of months later for literally $1 million more than she bought it for. My former sister-in-law had a thriving medical practice. She got so stressed that she joined the Scientologist and started taking their classes. She opened up 5-6 credit cards without telling my brother, maxed the cards out with hundreds of thousands in cash withdrawals, and gave it to that cult. My cousin spent 100% of her inheritance and took out a lien on her home to buy a second home in the mountains. Thing is, it was being pushed over by a mountain, and they thought they could fix it. I went and seen it, and every door jamb was crooked and the doors wouldn't shut. They took me down into the basement, and they were trying to use I-beams to stop the mountain from pushing on the home. I was just like, what the hell are you doing? That won't solve anything. Fast forward 6 months, and they asked me for $50K to help, and I declined. Fast forward a year, and the home collapsed, and now they owe over $300K plus for a home that doesn't exist. And if they don't make the payments, they lose their other house too, because they used the original home as collateral and could not get insurance on the second home. Total money lost upwards of $700K. Knew someone who answered those scam emails thinking they would get rich. Last I heard, he lost around $50K, emptied out savings account and maxed out credit cards, left in debt and had to move back with ailing parents. I knew a guy who was terrible with money, worked in a warehouse but spent all his money on drugs and things for his controlling girlfriend. Then one day he came to me to show me his brand new car, probably around $50K. He takes me for a ride and starts bragging about how he took his pay stub to like 10 of those cash advance places and get $10K worth of loans and had been living like a king. It was as if he thought he found some sort of life hack. To this day, I'm not sure if he just thought he wouldn't have to pay it back or what. A couple weeks later, I learned he wasn't paying attention while driving and rear-ended a bus going way over the speed limit and totaled the car. Train wreck of a guy. My aunt dropped $1,000 on those Trump NFTs, then tried to borrow money from me. Some people are just dumb. That's the only explanation I have. Buying a purebred puppy while on a low-wage job with the end of your contract in sight, while also being a single parent in a rented apartment. Yeah, within a year she was on food stamps. A guy I worked with found out that check cashing places were offering $15,000 no-question-asked loans. The interest rates were fucking insane. I begged him not to do it, but he impulsively went on a lunch break and got $15,000 in cash and deposited it in his bank account. This was 6 years ago. He is still struggling because of it. He lost his wife and kid because he drank every penny of it in a summer. He got eviction notices, and the stress was too much to the point where he had a psychotic break which lasted for months. He is pushing 40, lives alone, can't see his child, hasn't had sex in a few years, and is forgotten by most of his friends because he was delusional and hallucinating for months. This older lady worked part-time in my kitchen. It was a fine dining, fast-paced environment. She would only work about 20 HRS per week doing busy work UE, peeling vegetables, washing produce, etc. Tasks I knew she could handle and wouldn't get overwhelmed. Unfortunately, her husband passed away and she requested a few months off. I totally understood and said take all the time you need. Let me know when you feel comfortable coming back to work, if at all. Take care, Barbara. 8 months later, she contacted me for a job. I was more than willing to have her back in my kitchen. I nonchalantly asked her how she was coping with her loss. She broke down in tears. She apparently got a $500,000 insurance payout from her husband's death. Within those months, she attempted to open a restaurant and sink every dime into the establishment. It went out of business in 6 months. She was now broke as an elderly lady having to go back to work. Someone at my work bought a brand new Audi RS3, around 70-80K euros. He got 40K from his grandma because she gave it to him for if she is about to die. A small fortune to buy a house, maybe, but no. What he did was put another 30K from his own money to buy the car. The guy has no house and has no money left. My ex-husband paid $2,500 for an online domain, never made a dime from it. Oh, he also paid some fly-by-night company $1,500 to help us try to improve our credit. Then there was the $7,000 to pay off his truck. He then traded it in for a different truck and payment a month later, when the truck he now owned started having mechanical issues. There are a ton of reasons he is my ex. I won't name any names, but a good friend who literally had it all. The high-rise apartment and a house down the street with a pool, sauna, casita, Hummer, Corvettes, a successful business, and about $400,000 in Bitcoin. Threw it all away over a murder for hire, because him and his, non-related to any of the above successes but from something about 10 years earlier before I knew him, got greedy and no longer wanted to split their financial gain with a third person, so yeah. Hired someone on the dark web to carry out the crime across state lines, but communicated everything over text. All 3 men, my friend, his business partner, and guy they hired, have been caught and convicted. One received life in prison, and my friend and his business partner are up for the death penalty. Also, he was only 35 when he was originally arrested.